Racing on Thursday takes place out at the Vaal. 9 races on the program, and race number 1 is set to get underway at 11:40. We begin with the Work Riders maiden plate of the 1600 meter trip. Joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Raheel. Nothing to write home about. The calm before the storm, 2.5 weeks before the big one. Regarding this card at the Vaal, we haven't been at the Vaal now all month, to be honest. First time in June that we heading to Vereniging. And as far as the card is concerned, I must be honest, watching declarations on this card and the first glance of the card being released, I thought I might phone in sick, but actually after looking at this card a little bit more closely, I don't quite mind it. I mean, it's not straightforward by any stretch of the imagination. I think the big fields lend itself to the punters probably stretching the budget a little bit, but it's not a bad card at all. Some of the golden oldies, a little bit of value to find. It's my type of card without being 10 out of 10 bullish about it. So I'm actually quite looking forward to the action for what is Dinkum out of season racing on the half-vault.
Well, let's get straight into it. Race number 1, we begin with an odds-on favourite in the form of Phil the Fluter, trading at about 6 to 10. Mystic Vision, the second pick, at 7 to 2. It is 6 to 1. Blue Court, 7 to 1. And Better Ball. Those. Could this be a straight line exacta to get the day started? 1 from 2?
I'd keep it open-ended for number 5, Blue Courts, to potentially get into the money as well here, Raheel. But I think to kick off with a win bet's probably the way to go. It is a maiden handicap to be mindful of the fact that Phil the Fluter has to give a lot of weight away, but he's earned that weight. He's got Pelasila Montawe, who's going to be a champion work rider for the season. He's got an unassailable lead, I think, around the country. There's 5 more races for the work riders, and Pelasila's got a 5-win lead, and one of those work riders races is obviously Klaberga, so he's not going to be caught. The false rail configuration on the day, just bear in mind, is likely to suit the low numbers. We saw a meeting at the Vaal when Race Coast was launched with exactly the same configuration, and low number draws were generally favoured on the card with the inside rail at 0 and the outside rail 12 metres in. So that's going to enhance any confidence with number 1 for the Fluter. Look, he's a battling long time exposed maiden, but he's just got the form that's most ready to get the job done. He got beaten at Fairview at prohibitive odds. He got beaten at Hollywoodbets Scottsville at prohibitive odds, and he's been beaten on the half-vault as a second favourite. He's been beaten in Cape Town as favourite before. So all those are reasons to run away, but I think that he's got his best opportunity yet. I'd stretch it out to say this is now or never for number 1, Phil the Fluter. Number 2, Mystic Vision, ran against winners last time. That might have been a good idea while he was rated 70, but while rated 77, he may have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew. He's in calmer waters. Got Chamo Mabaya on board, so yeah, he's got an opportunity. He shouldn't be too far away. And I think number 5, Blue Courts, represents a little bit of value. A horse that was well beaten by Pretty Persuasive, came out and won at Turfentine over the weekend, so that form line is gathering a little bit of momentum. Xavier Mackay is one of Sean Terry's many work riders, one of the regulars, one of the faithfuls with Sean, along with quite a few others, and he's based at Randfontein, so I'm sure he would have swung a leg over number 5, Blue Courts, for Fani Broncos. But I think that's pretty much where the race stops. 1 very hard to beat, and 2 and 5 to chase him home.
Moving along to race number 2. Next up, the second race will be the start of the bipod. 12:15 is the off time. It's an MR72 handicap of 2,400 meters. Number 2, Flag Bearer, is your favorite at 18 to 10. Number 3, Nuclear Force, trading at 2 to 1. Number 6, Rainy Season, is on offer at 33 to 10. It is then 6 to 1. And Better Ball. Those start off the bipod. What's your thoughts?
So the bipod is my suggested bet, Raheel, and I think Gavin Larena is the key to this race, and he rides number 2, Flag Bearer. I'll tell you why he's the key, because he rode Nuclear Force last time to win, to beat Rainy Season, and the weight suggests that Rainy Season should turn that form around. So I think Gavin's found Flag Bearer possibly at the right time. I know Flag Bearer is not won over the strip, but he's placed numerous times over this distance. He's sort of built towards some sort of form. His penultimate start to Nuclear Force, where he was 3/4 of a length behind. He's obviously not weighted to stay in front or to turn that form around, but that was by virtue of a 4-kilo apprentice allowance from Gurish Samo Bertia. So with Gavin Larena on board, he's got to be worth that turnaround and more. And I think number 2, Flag Bearer, is the key horse in the race, considering Gavin's climbed onto the sun of flying the flag this time around. 6, Rainy Season has to be in the mix here. He'll third run after a long break, would have needed his first run back, which was fair behind Cartagena, who's obviously in this race as well. And I think Cartagena's got stamina question marks despite seeking a genuine hat-trick of wins. Last time just got collared late by Nuclear Force, was blowing on both occasions, so I'd anticipate that was because he just may have needed those first 2 runs back. It's been 1,514 days since he last won, so that puts into perspective how much confidence we can have. But I think between the 2 horses, they'll both be, or one of them will at least be good enough to run into the top 2. So Flag Bearer top choice, Rainy Season the biggest danger, and that's pretty much how I read it.
That is race number 2. Next up, race number 3, start off the place accumulator. 1,200 meters a trip, and this is a maiden handicap, 12.50. The off time, number 1, Hotaru is your favorite, a 2-year-old filly taken on older horses at 22-10. Number 2, Empress Wu is at 3-1. Number 3, Mistakes at 7-2. Number 4, Secret Warrior 8-1 into 4-1. 11-2 about number 6, Cherry Lady. It's then 12-1 and better bar those. Alistair, this filly Hotaru, second to Desire, runs later on in the card. And how much of confidence can you have in this filly winning in this race, given that she's got to give weight to every single rival of hers?
Got the best bets in this race, and I thought the favourite. Best bets on the card. Cherry Lady, number 6 on the card. Muziani on board for Alec Laird. I think the steady runs in it's valid excuses last time when the saddle slipped, beaten by Fair Proposal, who didn't rip up any trees over the weekend against winners, but 5 1/4 lengths to Versace on the track. She won a hot race over the weekend. Alta Capitana's form line is starting to take a turn for the better. And the fact that, as you mentioned, 2-year-old filly drawn on what's probably going to be the wrong side of the track, beaten by a horse that was unsupported in the market last time, who runs later on, who obviously could be anything. There are too many red flags going up about Hotaru. I wouldn't say that she cannot win, but I think with the 4 kilos that number 6 Cherry Lady receives from form lines that I think are a little bit more trustworthy, I think that's going to tilt the scales in her favour. So she is my banker in the bar, banker in the place accumulator as a result. And the other 2-year-old, number 4, Secret Warrior, is a horse I respect, first run after a gelding. That Tin Pan Alley form line, although that race came in on a soft track, the second horse, Lava County, still a maiden. There were horses that were well beaten who are maiden no more. And with a 4-kilo claim, I wouldn't be writing off his chances if there is any improvement. First run is a gelding. But I'm keen on number 6, Cherry Lady. I think that she's shown enough to suggest that she might be in the right place now to get the job done. First trip to the Vaal, be running fast. She's obviously got a lot of speed, and I think all that's going to play into her favour. I think she's the best bet on the card, and I can't believe the price.
Well, 11-2. That could turn out to be an absolute gift here in race number 3 on the program. Cherry Lady, Alec Laird and Muziani teaming up with his 2-year-old daughter of Getrix. Next up, race number 4, start off the pick 6. This is an MR70 handicap. 1,200 meters is the distance, and it's a big field at lineup where we've got joint favourites, weak favourites, number 5 and 6 at 9-2, number 3 Nazare at 6-1, Parla Millions at 8-1. And then it is 12-1 and better ball those. Alistair, these tricky handicaps, how are you going to sort of navigate through them on the day? And in race number 4, start off the pick 6, third leg off the bipot, what you doing?
The key horse here is number 6, Alone Time. He's my top choice. He ran miles above his rating at his penultimate start. Dancing from Sanson runs in the KZN Breeders' Million Mile over the weekend off a rating of 108. And Alone Time obviously ran 3 1/4 lengths off level weights to a horse of 108. So he ran north of 100 on that occasion. I think we spoke about it going into the meeting on the 29th of May, that it might have been better horses that helped Alone Time raise his game due to the fact it was a Pinnacle Stakes. He couldn't incur a penalty. And last time we were talking about the race meeting on the day of the launch of Race Coast. It was drawn hard up on the outside on a day that nothing was really getting going towards the outside, and Alone Time was simply best of the rest behind Falcon Strike. I thought it was a good run in defeat, and there were, the typical golden oldies in behind, quite a few who he reopposes here in the form of Parla Millions, 2020 Vision, Circus Lights, and Golden Aspen. I think things are more kinder, the fact that he's drawn towards the inside, that he's going to have more of a chance and then be able to follow a few more horses through if he doesn't indeed take the lead. And I think if he repeats his penultimate start, he's a no-brainer top selection. If he repeats his last run, he still should be good enough to be in the money. So he's the horse that all bets are going to revolve against. Dangers in the bar. I got 3, 5, and 11 as backups. So 3, 5, 6, and 11 my numbers. I want to start with Captain Efficient. May have needed the last run back from a 2-month break. Tongue Tie went off last time, ran a nice race behind Pile of Millions. I think he'll be better and more solid with that run under the belt. With that said, there should be nothing to choose between Captain Efficient and Pile of Millions. Obviously meet again. Funny enough, Pile of Millions is 3 runs in between Captain Efficient's one start. Pile of Millions obviously won at a reasonable price on the 26th of April. That was at the end of day 4 of the championships up on the half field. I respect his chances. Number 11, Pile of Millions of 62 is not just a smidge too high as far as ratings are concerned, but if you like one, you can't write off the other. And Nazare surprised us all last time. Was a win where he probably took out the victory a little bit easier than the margin suggested. He hung across, but he was never in doubt. James De Harbour got a tune out of him, an inside draw. If he is in the same mood as he was last time, he's dangerous, but he's not the most consistent around. But he did answer a few questions last time out. He was always pigeonholed as a horse who was at his best on the inside track, so it was nice to get a win out at the Vaal with number 3 Nazare. So a little bit of hope that he should run nicely, at least number 3 Nazare.
Yeah, number 6 a long time. Let's see if he can deliver the goods and go one better than he did at his last 2 outings. We're going to move along to race number 5 next up, and this is the Fillies and Mares 76 handicap over 1200 meters. 2 o'clock is the off time. Favorite here, number 7 Desire, 3-year-old filly, won on debut, 5-1, 13-2 Valieva, 7-1 Tanner Marie. It's then 10-1 and Better Ball. Those. What can you tell us about race number 5?
For me, the hardest race on the card, Raheel, I've got 5 horses in the bar pot, and I've left out the favourite, number 7 Desire, who could be absolutely anything off a rating for 76. But we'll learn a lot more. If Hotaru wins race number 2, and obviously I'm against her there, then the pick 6 will take a different complexion, and I'd include number 7 Desire everywhere. But as it stands, 6, 10, 11, 14 and 17 are my numbers. I want to start at the bottom here. Number 17 on the card. There she goes. For me, is very, very interesting. James De Harbour on board for Wayo Mowing. She's well exposed. 6-year-old maiden with 6 career wins. Her rating has come down. In fact, she never got a penalty for winning her anti-penultimate start, which is rare. She's come down from her last start where she made a ton of ground behind Buttercup Baby. I think that she's well set up here, number 17. There she goes, and I think that she could be the value in the race, in a race that obviously there's value just smattered all over the card. So I'm on her side as a tentative top selection, but definitely a good place bet in a field of 19 where you're going to get 4 places to run along with. Of the others that I haven't, I think they all have winning chances. 6 Alabama, and I'm expecting to bounce back and run a better race, drawn towards the inside again off a rating drop. She's had better days, of that there's no doubt. But she's come down steadily in the ratings. I thought Signs of Life last time behind Blizzard Snow. And there was all sorts of interference in the closing stages. Not that she suffered any, but there were quite a few horses in front of her that were taking back. If she can run 2.5 lengths behind Green Sapphire, who's now a grade 2 winner, then Alabama Anna's got to have the tools to be able to win. Valieva, Gavin Larena takes over for Fani Bronkhorst. I think that's got to be worth something. I expect a very nice run from her. She stayed on strongly last time behind Falcon Strike. That form under the spotlight earlier on. 11 Sunshine Day. At her best, she'll eat this field alive, but she is held on the last run by, there she goes, funny enough, at Hollywoodbets Greyville. There's a little bit of food for thought, but back to the half-fold. Brett Webber he doesn't mess around with his horses, so I think number 11, Sunshine Day, she is at her best. She's worth including, but not necessarily one to be confident about. And 14, Mickey's Bomb, whenever she gets into the money, she tends to do me a favour. I do get her on the right day. She's not the most consistent or the most genuine around, but she's worth throwing in because she stayed on very strongly last time when finishing 4th. So she's a definite inclusion as well.
Trappy contest is race number 5. You probably want to look for quite a bit of cover here in the 5th race, the start of Jackpot 1. Moving along to race number 6 next up. This is the start of Jackpot 2. 14:35 is the off time. 1200 meters the distance. It's an MR82 handicap. Favorite is number 5, Vibe SA at 9-2. Number 13, Dylan's Champ, is a 6-1 shot. 7-1 about Longsword. 8-1 King of Numbers. Paul Riviere, it is 12 to 1. It's Personal, Kinchin Shah, Prince of Kildare, and then 14 to 1 and Better the Balance. Alistair, another trappy contest and a race that could produce a massive result.
Sure, Hill, the horses on my radar here. Too many for my liking. I've gotten, let me just double check, 5 horses in the buy pot. And in the pick 6, I'm gonna start off with a horse who's not in my buy pot, but who is in my pick 6. That's Keon the Conqueror, number 7. Washong Mowing and Marco van Rensburg team up. He ran in a race he should never have been in last time in the Pinnacle Stakes, and he was anything but disgraced behind Buffalo Storm Cody, who I believe would be a big chance on the Post Merchants on Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Behind him, well behind him, was Grand Crescendo, who ran 3rd over the weekend, showing signs of life. He's grade 1 placed in a merit-rated 100 handicap. So Keon the Conqueror has gone a drop in class from an average rating of a 104 to an 81. Big chance. Like I said, I've left him out the buy pot, but he is my alternative in the pick 6, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable that I've left him out of the buy pot. But buy pot numbers 4, 8, 10, 16, and 17. Like I said, all horses on my radar. I've left out the favourite and the second favourite, Vibe SA. I don't know where we're at with him. He let the side down in his last 2 starts, encouraging last run. But I think he might be in his place, unfortunately. And Dylan's Champ, I just cannot have over 1,200 metres for love or money. If he arrives, I'll take my hat off. I know that he's a full brother to William Robertson, one of the A-grade sprinters in the country, but he's nothing like William Robertson. The fact that he's had 1 win from 10 starts and he is not running in a grade 1 anytime soon. So I think that settles that debate. Longsword, I liked a lot last time. He was stiff. He was very, very stiff. Yeah, horses were swallowing him up, and he was beaten, but there was a whole mess behind him in that Roaming Spirit starts, and he was part of that. Callum Murray's on board for Sean Terry. Not ideal with a draw, but I'm going to stick to my guns and suggest that he's going to win sooner rather than later. Number 4, Longsword. 8, King of Numbers, just for pure consistency. Impossible to write him off. Just touched off late by Sea Shanty last time up. Sea Shanty's a horse in form. 3 runs back. He beat Paul Revere on the 19th of April. We'll get to Paul Revere in a moment. At the weights, Paul Revere's well and truly waited to turn that form around. So that's a little bit of a reason to gravitate towards Paul Revere. But King of Numbers can't knock the consistency. Paul Revere is my top choice. The Secretariat Stakes, he might have been a tad underwhelming on that occasion behind Schwarzenegger, but Schwarzenegger came out and beat Legend of Arthur, who obviously had something amiss in the Igurdi Mile, and also finished in front of Confederate, who granted was having a prep run into the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. But that form run sparked up very nicely. James De Harbour takes the ride. And then down the page, 16 and 17, Prince of Kildare. I tend to catch him right. Samango Kamalo takes the ride for Billy Rates. That's got to be a signal of intent. And Lonely as a Cloud put up his career best work during the week. And he's got 49.5 thanks to Shaya Mbuto on his back. He is an average handicap alone. He's got a couple more wins to come. There's no doubt about that. But his last workout was definitely good enough to give things a shake in this race. So 5 horses for me in the bar. But to recap, 4, 8, 10, 16 and 17.
Yeah, Alistair's going to make that 6 horses because he's definitely going to include number 7, Keon the Conqueror, into the play. I think he's talked himself into the horse more than anything else, and he's discounted his chances. So 20 to 1. Include the 7 horse as well into the play there. Keon the Conqueror could be a nice result in race number 6. Race number 7 next up, and the 7th race, 10 past 3 is the off time. It's an MR70 handicap over 1800 meters. Favorite here, number 1, Molotov Cocktail, well-bred son of the non-platina at 22 to 10. Number 2, Chabal at 9 to 2. Storm Ahead 5 to 1. Gamer 5 to 1. It's 6 to 1, and Better Ball those. Alistair, interesting contest. Obviously, we've got this horse, Molotov Cocktail, who just won his maiden last time out and filled the fluter runs in race number 1. So it will be interesting to see how that form goes. And then Chabal last time out, I just thought over the final stages he was outstayed by Aladdin's Lamp, and I'm not surprised to see them dropping him in trip to 1800 meters, but he was given a 3-point penalty. Could those two be the 2 horses to fight it out, or would you have space for a horse like Future Wolf?
I've got space for a horse like Future Wolf Hill. I've got 2 and 3 in the bar pot, 1, 2 and 3 in the pick 6. Molotov Cocktail could be anything. Can't sit here and say that I don't like him because he's got anything to come. But I'm on the fence of where we stand. I don't know if he's going to break through and be above average, or I don't know if he's just going to be a handicapper. I suppose we'll learn a lot more straight out the maidens. As you mentioned, beat Phil the Fluter, who's looks very hard to oppose earlier on in the card, but not going to be easy for him with 62 going around the 1800 meters for the first time in his career. There's a lot of reasons not to like him, but equally there are a lot of reasons to like him. But the two horses that I've got in the bar pot, numbers 2 and 3, Chabal, my top choice. Yes, I'm not a fan of him getting a penalty for being a loser last time behind Aladdin's lap, but I was so keen on him last time. I agree with you. I think that he was just found wanting over the final 200 meters. I think he's now in a happy place as far as distance is concerned. Craig Zaki on board. I actually like how Fabian Habit placed him going into his last start. I wasn't surprised to see a bit of support. Muzi, and he took the ride. Third run after a break, the tongue tie seems to have made a difference, and he's the horse that I'm going to lead with. He is my top choice in the race. And then number 3, Future Wolf, has to go in as well, purely on the evidence of the last run behind Chabal. With Chabal running under a penalty, Future Wolf should get a lot closer. Heather Adamson's yard's in unbelievable form at the moment, so credit to her. And I think that Future Wolf, if not winning, ought to go very, very close. So I've held the race to 2 horses. Down the page, 1 or 2 others I suppose are worth respect. Storm Ahead and Gamer. But as far as the bar pot is concerned, I'm comfortable with 2 and 3. I was very close to bankering number 2, Chabal, I must be honest.
Yep, 2 and 3 could certainly be good enough there, but Alistair likes number 2, Chabal, quite a lot once again. Race number 8, penultimate race on the card. Fillies and Mares, 78 handicap, 1800 meters is the distance, 15:45 for your off time. Number 5, Vagram, your favorite at 9-2. Number 7, Reflective, is a 5-1 shot, 6-1 about Free in Seattle, 6-1 Teo Toriate. It's then 7-1 and better by those. Alistair, unlike the previous race where Molotov Cocktail has got 62 on the back, I think this Daughter of Legislator Reflector from the James Crawford yard could be very, very dangerous straight out the maidens. And last time out, it was actually quite a surprise that she drifted out, because we tipped up on the show and she went 10-1 and won. Quite a nice race.
Yeah, I think there's something about her. Number 7, Reflective. With regard to beating Ethical was bitterly disappointing, but she had her excuses. Bold Action, who ran in behind, came out and franked that form. I thought her debut behind Kate Saffron, in and around Exposed Maidens, was a fair run. Crawford wasn't messing around getting her started over 1700 meters, so I think that shows you that she's just looking for a trip, and the further she goes, the more she races, the better she will be. As you say, in contrast to Molotov Cocktail, with very similar profiles, Reflective carries less weight and for me takes on a far more shallow field. So yes, Reflective is my top selection in the race, but looking past her, it becomes a little bit more open. There are a few horses here that tickle my fancy, Raheel. Number 2, One Religion, is one of those. If James de Harbour can just get her to drop the bit and relax at the back of the field, this filly's got undoubtedly the best turn of foot in the race, but everything has to go according to plan. I have no doubt that James would have ridden her and worked. If she's in the mood, she will blow this field away, but if she's not in the mood, she'll run an average race. I know she's held by Free in Seattle on the last run. Well, wouldn't say held. She certainly waited to get a lot closer to Free in Seattle from that last run. But you just got to catch her on the right day, number 2, One Religion. Don't leave her out, but also be prepared for disappointment. Number 2, One Religion. She's got that tendency to go either way. And then down towards the bottom of the weight, I think number 13, Sneak Preview, could be well set up to get into the top 3. I think that she's just bubbling under now. Craig Zaki's on board for Lucky Hudalakis. I was talking to Lucky at Turpentine on Sunday. He is so frustrated with the form of the yard. For me, pound for pound, when I look across the country, Alan Creef, Lucky Hudalakis, Alec Laird, perhaps 1 or 2 others. Gareth Van Zyl probably enters that conversation as well. But as far as trainers of the season are concerned that aren't going to be champions, Lucky is right up there. But the last 6 weeks or so, he's been tearing his hair out. He said they look well, they work well, and they're just not quite putting it in on race day. A trainer of that caliber is going to get it right sooner rather than later. Number 13, Sneak Preview, I'd expect to be somewhere in the money and could be the nice kicker as far as the quartets are concerned.
That's race number 8. Let's see, I know 7, Reflective, does go straight out the maidens. Race number 9, final race on the day, and it's a wide open race where they're betting 11-2 the field, 20:4 the off time, 1500 meters the trip. Joint favourites, numbers 2, 8 and 9, all at 11-2, 6-1 about number 13, Lebeccio, 8-1 Walled Garden, it's 10-1 Guerrilla Warfare, 12-1 and better by those. Final race of the day, final leg of the pick 6. Alistair, the type of race where you run in for cover?
This is a this is the hardest race on the card by a long way. And truth be told, it's the reason why I didn't go with the pick 6 in this, because I'd only feel comfortable multiplying the perm by 20, and it's already an expensive perm. There might be a few punters that have earmarked a few horses. There's no banker here. There's no good thing here. At a push, my top choice would be number 13, Lebetio. Craig Zaki takes her out for Tyrone Zaki. They had a winner on Sunday, did the Zaki combination. No relation as far as I'm aware. I thought the last run behind Lady Sabrina was fair under Niven Astili. In fact, it was a good run, switched at a crucial stage. Run with a lot better than what he takes on today, the likes of Bus Stop and Hounslow, who's grade 1 raced, Press On Regardless, who's running a division or 2 stronger than this. Eiffel Tower also punches above his weight. These are all horses who would fit in positively in a race of this nature. He's more consistent than a horse that you can put your head down on, but I just think that he ought to be good enough to win a race of this nature, or for 67 with the opposition that he takes on. He's drawn in the middle, so he'll have a few options. He's likely to have a few horses to take him across and get him into whatever the right position or whatever position Craig Zaki needs to get to. And maybe this 1,500 meter trip down the straights is a nothing distance that he's best over, because he's got 100% win play strike rate over the trip. There's no name that you can throw at me now that I would be able to write off. I think that St. John Gray might have a good chance here with Guerrilla Warfare, and After Hours, there's always 2 horses that are worth including. Guerrilla Warfare pulled up not striding out last time out. There have been a few winners from that form run, although he hasn't won in nearly a year. I think that bar that last run, he's got form that puts him into the picture. Unsolved Riddle, definitely worth another chance. He gave Trenton Mayhew a horrible time of it last time on the inside track, where I thought he'd be hard to beat. If you think that the Cape Town form is good enough still to retain a few pounds in hand, Pierce Stradham on board. Number 2, Unsolved Riddle's not a horse that I'd totally write off. Kalida's showing up of late, so also a horse that's got to go into the picture. Walled Garden, the 2-year-old Sunset Warrior's not without a hope. So it is a very, very complicated race. But as far as trifectas and quartets are concerned, 13 Lebetio, definitely an inclusion. I'd take a quartet. I'd actually double float 3 and 13 by the field. It is a little bit of a stretch, but if that arrives, you'll never forget this race.
3 and 13, double floating those 2 horses in the quartet, which could be worth a very, very useful dividend after race number 9 has been run. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now. Alistair will take us through that suggested bet, a bipot, which commences with the running of race number 2. And Alistair, take it away.
Yep, early start, winter, so no surprise there. Tend to be getting race meetings underway before midday. So the bipot begins in race number 2 at 12:15. 2 and 6, the first leg Flag Bearer and Rainy Season by banker. Number 6, Cherry Lady. My day revolves around her. Then horses. 3, 5, 6, 9, and 11. So Nazaria, Captain Efficient, Alone Time. 9, where were we? Yeah, 9 Prize Platinum and 11 Parlor Millions, all in the play there as well. By 6, 10, 11, 14, and 17. So just recapping those numbers: Alabama Anna, One Party, Sunshine Day, Micker's Bomb, and there she goes. And then again a few horses in Lake 5, which is race 6, 4, 8, 10, 16, 17, Longsword, King of Numbers, Paul Revere, Prince of Kildare, and Lonely as a Cloud. But I've talked myself into Keon the Conqueror as well. And final leg 2 and 3, Chappelle and Future Wolf.
Yep, that is the bipod, and if you include the Eki and the Conqueror there, it's going to be a 600 rand for a full unit. And yeah, I think that bipod's going to pay way more than that on the day. It looks to be a very tricky card out at the Vaal, where the exotics could be worth some real money. Alistair, thanks very much for your time. All the best. Look forward to seeing you again fairly soon, and hope you have an enjoyable week ahead.
Yep, thanks, Raheel. Always looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the team down in KZN. Thank you so much for the time this morning, and looking forward to catching up as always.
Yeah, all the best with racing on Thursday out at the Vaal.